Now you hear me great. Now you hear me great. Isn't it amazing that I got to re-edit this freaking thing when I'm done today? How about now? We're good now. Thank you. God, I wish someday I worked at a place where I just didn't have to plug in a laptop. But I work where I have to plug in my laptop. I apologize.
702-605-6333. Brace Charcuterie.
Sound off Raider Nation. Join GT the Brick weekdays from noon.
Let's fire this up.
Interactive talk show and sports talk radio. We are RNR 920 AM KRL for Las Vegas.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
This is the silver and black. This is the Raiders. This is a historic franchise. This is no ordinary job.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I don't care if I offend somebody. If it isn't right, I'm going to stop practice. We're going to do it the right way.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
All right, get in here. That's the tweet. Get in here. We are live on Raider Nation Radio. We are live on YouTube. We are live on the Las Vegas Sports Network. And we're ready to roll today. Hope you're streaming the show. We call them the bricklayers. They get in here early. We support them. And we try to give them a must-listen monologue. We try to give them something every day, passion and energy. 30 years uninterrupted on the radio. And for whatever reason, I'm double dipping again today. I got noon to 2, and then I got 8 to 11 p.m. Believe me, not many people can do that. Maybe I think Q, who works here, and Q does a double dip too, even I think longer. But I'm here to roll today, and I'm going to give you a monologue, and then I hope to hear from you. This time of year, I don't stack us with a lot of guests, which I probably should, but I didn't stack a lot of guests. And we're going to get a chance to hear from you on the NFL rumors, the World Baseball Classic, the NBA, and some of the other stories. The Golden Knights, can't wait for them to come home. I'm planning on going to some games. And that's it, baseball, the World Baseball Classic that I'm going to make sure I get into the monologue here. As we open up the show, we're brought to you by the De Castroverde Law Group. They've been around with me a long time. If you get into an accident and get injured, Alex and Orlando De Castroverde is where you want to be. The Brothers Win, thebrotherswin.com. If you get into an accident, you need, in this town where I am or around this area, you need an injury attorney. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't happen, but if you do, it's Brothers Win, brotherswin.com. Okay, here's what I want to get into today. You might have caught me earlier today. I was walking the mean streets of Summerlin, getting some work in, and I put out a video on X at JT the Brick about these NFL rumors. They are at an alarming high rate right now. They're at the rate that I haven't seen in quite some time in the Raider Nation. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it at this level before. So when we see it at this level, it concerns me. I'm concerned about it because where there's smoke, there could be fire. Now, I've told you the whole time, I don't think that there's anything there with Max Crosby. I've talked to Max. I've been with Max a little bit lately. I think that Max wants to stay, but I'm not positive if his agent wants him to stay, which I don't know anything about that, but you never know. There could be a conversation that we're not all aware of, which could be Max and his agent and his wife and his family. But after spending time with his wife and Max, both of them and his agent, I was not concerned that Max is looking to get out of here. But a lot of Raider fans think that he needs to put this to rest and come out there and say, you know, I'm a Raider for life. I got it tattooed on my chest. This is who I am. He doesn't have to do anything for you. Let me repeat, that's the point of this whole debate. And there shouldn't be a debate. You think that he has to do something for you that no one else on the team is doing. No one else on the team has to stand in front of a podcast or a microphone saying, I'm going to be here for life. I'm going to be here for life. Max has done this. There are 100 clips on YouTube as he's been a Raider from Oakland all the way to Vegas, where he told you he loves the team and organization as the team and organization has struggled recently. How much more do you want to see? Oh, now you want to see it now. So you want him to go on the couch with one of the housewives. You want him to go to some guy and make him famous. He's not make anybody famous. It should be his partners on The Rush, his own podcast, and jump in there and say, well, you break the news that I want to be a Raider for life. Or I'll go to JT the Brick, who I trust, or whatever. I don't expect it. Why do you expect it? Because people are needy and they need something. They need endorphins. They need the natural high. They need to know that everything's going to be okay. We're living in a society now where people need to be hugged and told everything's going to be okay. And that's not the way it works. It doesn't work that way. There are going to be concerns. There are going to be ups and downs. There's going to be uncertainty, and you're going to have to handle it. And grown-ass men know how to handle it. Little boys can't. Little boys and girls can't handle stuff like this. Grown-ass men can. And if he gets traded, we move on. If they don't, we get behind him. It's pretty simple what's going to happen here. So when it comes to all of this, I think the fans in Las Vegas and Oakland and some of the other fans are handling this pretty well. But the people that are needy and need a hug seem to be all over social media. And they need reassurance. I had a pretty tough dad. He's 87. He's great. You know, my dad was tough on me in life because I needed a tough dad. I was a screw up. I needed a guy in my face because, you know, if I didn't have a dad like this, I would have messed up even more. But my dad was hard on me because my dad knew I needed it. And my dad knew how to reassure me. And he loved me and he took care of me. I was his only son, still to this day. But I wasn't needy. I was never needy to my dad, where I needed him to tell me things to make me feel better. Okay? What's happening in the NFL trade rumorville is there are so many bleeping fans that need their hands held. What the hell's going on out there? You got to wake up every day before you go to work, put your work boots on, go to work, represent other people, be the boss or not, and have your hand held that a guy might not be here or not? I mean, grow up. It's going to happen either way. Blame me. You're going to blame me. So blame me. Start blaming me now if he takes a trade deal on a deal that the Raiders can't refuse. I can't make it any more clear than I've made it in the last couple of weeks that the coach and the GM are on the record, saying how badly they want Max to be here. On the record. They've said it multiple times. They did it at the Combine. But you want more. So DraftKings said the number's moving, Clay, hard to the Chicago Bears. Did you see the DraftKings number? It was plus 600, now plus 200, plus 145, and everybody's watching. Now we're going to watch degenerate gamblers who will gamble on cockroaches and balls and strikes, and now they're freaking out, and they're getting in our timeline too, Clay Baker.
What's worse than the guys that do the cockroaches are Chicago Bears money. Bears fans believing in the future, and they're just right around the corner. They're so desirous to have Max Crosby being acquired in Chicago. It's what they're living for. It's literally the lifeblood of Chicago radio for the past 6 weeks.
You know what drives me crazy? And I don't know the answer to this. I don't know the answer. I got a guy in my chat, ELNBOS, that says, Max don't want to be here, so move his ass. How dare you come into my space and say that? I sat down with Max for a couple of hours at the Commitment to Excellence Award dinner with Tim Brown and Rich Gannon. You don't think he wants to be here? Well, you didn't see his interaction with Rich Gannon and Tim Brown. All right, so putting words in Max Crosby's mouth is the lowest you can get. The lowest you can get here. Now, if Max ends up leaving for whatever reason, I'm sure Max will tell you all how much he loves the Raiders and loves the organization. He won't cover up the tattoo, and he'll have an opportunity to play somewhere else. I don't see that happening. A lot of other people don't either. Peter Schrager, earlier today on ESPN on the update with Mad Max Crosby.
I did a Monday Night Football game and had an opportunity to speak with the Raiders brass early in the season. And the story that you get on Max Crosby, and I know this is cliche for a lot of you at home, we're talking 4 a.m., first car in the parking lot, last guy to leave, constantly working, the vibes guy, lifts everyone up. That's why I don't trade Max Crosby. That is a cornerstone piece. You have one of the best defensive players in football on your roster. I know we can get a bunch of assets for him. That's no question. But you're going to find a Max Crosby at 29 years old who can do that. I would be curious to see if this thing progresses because I think Max Crosby is an irreplaceable player.
Peter Schrager said, I'd be curious to see this progress, a trade. He's one of the bigger NFL insiders out there. He said he'd be curious if this progresses. Why didn't Peter Schrager stand up today on ESPN set and say Max Crosby's leaving? Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He has no idea. He said he'd be curious if it progresses. So that leads me to the topic here today in regards to the deals that are out there. It's amazing how many people on X and other platforms believe that they have a deal for Max Crosby. And I guess Howie Roseman hasn't thought about it, or John Spytek, or John Schneider, or some of the other respective names, Elliot Wolf, around football. If a team wants to trade for Max Crosby and they have a mid to late round, first round pick, get the hell out of here. I don't care about your late first round pick. I've lived through Fabian Washington and I've lived through Damon Arnett. You haven't. I lived through it. I don't want to live through that again. I don't give a crap about your late first round pick for Max Crosby. Now, if you had 2 early first round picks, like if the Jets were like the second pick overall and next year, because the Jets still won't be good next year, it's pick, which will be in the top 5, pick up the phone. I don't do the deal, but I pick up the phone. And you listen, and I'm sure John Spytek's going to get bombarded with phone calls. And if he has to make a deal, they would run it by Max Crosby and Mark Davis and everybody involved. So the Cowboys have the 12 and the 19. How stupid would the Cowboys be to get rid of Micah Parsons for an equal player and give up everything they got for Micah Parsons for the same type of player? How stupid is that? Why don't you just keep Micah Parsons? So wait a second, you got rid of Micah Parsons, you got some draft equity, now you're going to use that draft equity to get Max Crosby. So you took one step back, and you're going to take the same step forward. If that's your move, okay. And then it would be Jerry Jones loves Max Crosby more than he did Micah Parsons. I actually like Max Crosby better than Micah Parsons because I think he's a better guy. I think he's a better person from everything I've heard and knowing Max. So these late first-round picks, and Clay Baker and I, before the show, had a nice conversation about the difference between rebuilding and why people don't want to rebuild. I never want to be associated with a rebuild anywhere in my life, God forbid, unless it was a house. Unless it was a house that I was buying and rebuilding and knocking it down, I'd like to do that. I'm not a contractor, but I'd like to do that. I think that'd be pretty cool. But a rebuild, you think the play-by-play voice of a team that hasn't won in 5 years wants to rebuild and go on the air and call the plays of a rebuild? I always say, do you think Brock Bauer's mom wants to come to the game and tailgate and J-Lot and have people come up and go, here's the rebuild? Have you lost your mind on a rebuild? You don't rebuild with Fernando Mendoza and Ashton Chente and Brock Bowers and Max Crosby and Jeremy Chin and Daniel Carlson and Colton Miller and A.J. Cole. Clint Kubiak didn't come here to rebuild. He wants to load up. Everybody wants to win. Everybody in this league believes they can win sooner than later. But I understand what you mean by, really having to take it down and build it back up again. But I wouldn't use the word rebuild. Oh, my God. What do you think? You're going to get more job security by doing this? Try going into your company's office and say, hey, let's tear this down and start over again. Tell me if you make it to lunch. Really? I mean, Clay, you and I were talking before the show, and maybe our listeners can help us out with this topic. Do you remember the last time a team in sports has rebuilt and won? I mean, a rebuild, not a reload, a rebuild where a team said, no, we're so bad. We're taking this down to the studs. We're building and we won a championship.
No.
Yeah, I think we're missing it. I think our listeners can help us. I think there's probably something we're forgetting. We're a team did something dramatic and built the championship team kind of quickly. Are we forgetting this? I don't remember it in baseball.
There was one guy in baseball that could do it, but it wasn't part of a plan.
Mm-hmm.
It was Billy Martin.
Yeah.
Okay. He would be a guy that would go to a reclamation project and immediately help them, whether they were too young,
Tigers,
too old. He did that. The A's, Rangers, he was great at that. But he would wear himself out after a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, with the bottle.
Yeah, and next thing you know, he's like the last coach. Maybe in basketball there could be a couple that could bring teams out of nowhere and make them competitive. But in football, I can't think of one manager or one general manager that can do that, or head coach.
Yeah, and basketball is an interesting one because there's so many bad basketball teams, right? There's so many bad basketball teams. And don't give me Greg Popovich rebuilding. That's a joke because Greg Popovich with David Robinson got Tim Duncan. They got Victor Wembanyama after Pop was gone. They got Tim Duncan. So that wasn't a rebuild. They just got lucky and got the first pick overall when they had good players and they sucked. But it's very hard to say, oh, we got a couple of examples of teams that have broken it down and traded away good players to rebuild. We have seen recently some teams that went from 3 or 4 wins, where the Raiders are now, and then they quickly went to the playoffs. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not predicting the playoffs this year. But if the Raiders have a really good draft and they sign 2 free agent starters on the O-line and they keep Max, which I'm assuming they're going to, and they get Mendoza, wow, it's going to be pretty exciting around here, isn't it? Isn't that going to be fun? Who the hell would show up at training camp in Henderson with Max Crosby, Fernando, right, a player like Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, and go behind a mic and say, we begin our rebuild now? And if Max ever left, and this is an if Max ever left, if it was because of a full rebuild and they told him that, he would have the right to leave. He would have the right to leave and not stick around if he had the indication that the people did not think they could win now behind the scenes, and they let Max know that. Max would just put his hands up and go, you kidding me? You're really admitting that we can't win at all? Okay, let's come to terms and get out of here. I don't think that's the case. Neither does Peter Schrager. Neither does half the people around the NFL. Most of them. So a lot of people, why am I leading with Max Crosby again today? It's the biggest story in sports. It's all they're talking about, so I have to do it. It's the last thing I want to do because I don't feed into it. I'd be feeding into it if I said, yeah, I hope he is traded. I think there should be a rebuild. And you know that's everything I stand against. Whatever the Raiders give me the honor of doing, pre and post game, interview the coach, MC events, do whatever I do, I have full gratitude. I've done it a very long time. It's not going to last forever. I love it. I love whatever I do. My role often evolves with this team. But you'll never see me behind a microphone ever, at the Torch or anywhere else, telling you that I support a rebuild. Because I don't believe in a rebuild at all. I don't believe in it at all. I do not believe in a rebuild on any level. I believe in reloading and getting it right. I believe in getting it right and doing it quickly and being efficient. And the way to do that is to put the best people in the room and make better decisions. And now the bunch of coaches and GMs have been fired over the last 5 years because they all had good intentions on how to improve the team, and it didn't work. Didn't work. They all got fired, every one of them. Every one of them. They're all gone. They're all gone. And now the new batch of guys come in, knowing that the guys before them all got fired. You don't think they know they're going to get fired if they don't get it right? And I think now Mark Davis has looked at Tom Brady and John Spytek and said, I've always been behind the organization and the GM. I'm really behind you with our new ownership. And we really want to give you the time to get it right with a young coach in his 30s and a young quarterback on a rookie deal. And we're going to give you all the resources it takes to win. Not win quickly, but do it dramatically and get it on the right track. So that's the monologue if you want to get in, 702-365-9200. I think I do a better job than most of telling you how to frame the topic, but on this one, I might not have the answer that you like. But I am a little bit frustrated today when I looked at my Twitter timeline and I saw a lot of people saying, I just can't take Max anymore. He won't have a press conference and say he wants to be a Raider. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many times Max has gone in front of a camera and a microphone and told everybody how much he loves this organization and fan base? And now because he's not doing it at the level you'd like to see it, you're concerned about it? You might be right. In the long run, you might be right. But I think Max deserves a level of respect. And I was going to play a soundbite from Max on some other podcasts with this young gal, but there were too many F-bombs to ask Clay to clean it up. And he was, Max, just to paraphrase, said, I go in the building every day. I say hi. I look on TV. Everybody's talking about me. Max is like, what the blank? There were too many F-bombs for me to play here. So I just told Clay we'd blow it off. But, it's a good phone topic. I'm into good phone topics in the offseason, and we can go from there. All right, and let me get to the World Baseball Classic. Today I'm wearing my red, white, and blue Ryder Cup hat. We got our ass kicked in the Ryder Cup. Made a little bit of a push on the final Sunday at my home course, Bethpage Black in Long Island, where I grew up. But the United States of America got beat again at the Ryder Cup. But then the United States of America beat Canada in hockey to win the gold medal for the men and women. So I am on a big patriotic push right here. So they give us this World Baseball Classic, and they give us Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper and Paul Skeens and Clayton Kershaw and some really good players. And I think these players are motivated to win the World Baseball Classic against very good teams from the Dominicana, from Mexico, from Japan, good teams with great Major League Baseball players from around the world. And I think they're serving this up to us on a platter that's already hot. The platter is already hot because of the Olympics and the men's hockey team and the women's hockey team. And I think everybody's going to gravitate to this WBC. But I want to know how you're going to consume it. I'm consuming it as an American patriot who just wants to win and beat everybody else. I think there's going to be some pitchers like Skirball pitches for Detroit. He's on a 55 pitch count limit. I don't want to see Aaron Judge pull a hammy because Yankees opening day is in San Francisco against the Giants. I'm looking for two. I'm looking for two. I'm looking for two. But I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But these guys make millions upon millions of dollars to play baseball and to represent their country. So I hope the United States of America keeps the momentum coming off the Winter Games and the gold medals and the momentum to go out and win this thing. There is pressure on them. And I truly believe that these players all want to win. I really believe that they care about winning. I think they want to win for their country. Because I talked about this on my night show. There's nothing cooler than going into a restaurant with your wife or your friends and you get a standing ovation. You walk into a restaurant, you got a gold medal around your neck, you won something, and the people at the restaurant stand up and give you a standing ovation because you won for your country. We're not talking about winning an NBA title. We're not talking about winning the Stanley Cup. We're talking about the whole restaurant goes USA, USA. And I think they have an opportunity here now with the World Baseball Classic to feed off of that energy, the patriotic energy of this country. How do you feel about that? Are you watching? It debuts tomorrow night. Will you be tuning in? And that's a topic that I'm going to expand on throughout the show today because I don't know, Clay, when the hell it's on TV. That's a problem that I'm having in life. I'm a sports talk host, and I don't know what's on television other than, pardon the interruption, Get up. First take. I know when Stephen A's on in the morning.
Sure.
I don't know when my sports are on because I don't know what channel they're on and when they're going to play.
It's a big problem for baseball. You know, baseball's not going to have its Sunday night on ESPN luxury any longer. You know, for people to go and to find out and seek out baseball, it might be a bridge too far for the casual viewer.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you're going to need like daily notifications. You're going to have to set.
Oh, are you saying I have to turn on my phone for my WBC notifications?
Yeah. The youngest will find out.
Yeah, my young gun will find out. That's 22 minutes of the monologue. Where the hell are you? I got a forum for you to call in and become famous. Have opinions that differ than mine. I always say sound off like you got a pair. 702-365-9200. I love the monologue, man. It's my favorite 22 minutes in the day, other than seeing my wife when I wake up in the morning, my kids and dog. The monologue gets me motivated, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get out to Joe in Brooklyn, who's listening on the Raiders mobile app. Hello, Joe.
What's up, JT? How's everything?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Couple of things. Max is a Raider until he's not. All right? No news there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is, I don't think it's a rebuild. I would say more of a reshaping.
Mm-hmm.
We have some pieces there. Okay? We have some nice pieces. Powers, Genty. We're going to have Mendoza. We, like I said, we're going to add, like you said, hopefully a couple of really good free agent offensive linemen, a couple of guys on defense, I'm also, a fan that knows we're going to go through a little bit of a struggle. Whether, I just want to see consistent football. Like, I don't want to get blown out anymore, I just want.
Who's gonna blow out the Raiders with Crosby, Mendoza, Genty, Bowers, Michael Mayer? I mean, who's gonna blow us out?
He's been blown out this past year. We didn't have Mendoza, but he's a rookie and he's going to struggle. We've been blown out plenty. Past, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the past 20 years we've been terrible. We've been blown out plenty. We're not there yet. We'll get there. But my biggest thing is, if Max just had major surgery, is the team going to trade for Max knowing that he can't pass the physical?
Yeah, Max will be fine. Max had minor surgery. It was a nice surgery, but he'll be fine.
Oh, I agree, but like, is he actually going to pass a physical? Whatever. Let's pick a team, the Cowboys. They're going to trade 2 first-round picks today or tomorrow or whatever, 7 to 10 days, and this guy's going to go out and pass a physical? Probably not. So, I mean, I just don't see the trade happening right now. During the season, if they're off to a bad start or, come the trade deadline, I could see that being more of a realistic trade opportunity, actually he's on the field playing and teams realize that.
So let's assume Max, I just saw him on Friday. Let's assume Max will be at 100%. Let's assume you're going to get the Max Crosby 28 going on 29. That's going to be in perfect shape. And he's going to be at a 10. Let's assume that's going to happen. And I can see why several teams would want to trade for him. But several teams don't want to give up the farm for him. And I think the Raiders would only move Max Crosby if they got an offer they can't refuse, which is a common term, but I think it's really important when it comes to that.
I agree with that. And I don't want to trade Max. I don't. I want him to be here when we start winning. Hopefully this year we start. We see the growth of the team. And by next year, we're competing for a playoff spot. That's what I want to happen. I don't need him to come out and say, I want to be a Raider for life. Like he's been playing his tail off for us. He plays hurt. He plays, pretty much every game.
Joe,
I don't need him to stand in front of a camera and do that.
Yeah.
Thanks, JC.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. Let me just say this. And again, I say things that, knock on wood, don't get me in trouble. If we are sitting here a year from now, it is March. We haven't even gotten the season so far away. It's so long. The season starts in September. From March to September is a long time from now. If you're telling me not this March, next March, I'm sitting here and we're not a contender for the following upcoming season, I am going to be pissed off like you've never seen. So I'll give this thing a year to turn it around. Not much more. Not much. When I see the Patriots go from 4 wins to the Super Bowl. Not when I see the Commanders go from 4 wins to the NFC Championship game. Not when I see Denver losing 8 in a row to the Raiders, never winning in Vegas, and they go to the AFC Championship game with Bo Nix. So if you think 2 years from now, and we're sitting here talking about, man, we got a long way to go, then a lot of people failed, including me. This ain't no long road, dude. It could be really bumpy right here going into this season. Yeah, sure. We're going to be doing shows out at the camp, out at headquarters, and we're going to be interviewing the coach and everybody. And maybe it won't look like a playoff year. But a year after that, you think we're going to be sitting around here on the flagship of the Raiders talking about another 2 or 3 years to get it right? You're crazy. This thing needs to get fixed now. You got Mendoza done. You got Max in the building better than everybody. You got Genty, who can be a rock star. If you block for him, you're getting 2 new offensive linemen. Guaranteed, you're getting 2 new offensive linemen. I promise you that. You got Brock Bowers. Hopefully Michael Mayer. Right? You got Trey Tucker. You got the Deontay Thornton. Maybe we'll throw it to him. Oh, I hung out with 50 Cent, Neo, and Jack Besh. Jack Besh was at the 50 Cent show. Me and Jack were bonding about how great the Raiders are going to be with him and a new quarterback. This ain't no long road of misery. I'm done with the misery index around here. Done with people being miserable, waking up looking for negativity. It's always darkest before the dawn. It is not dark right now. We have Mendoza coming through that building. Everybody stand at attention and be at your best. Everybody be at your best. We had a horrible season last year. Families lost their livelihood and jobs. The benefit of that now is we have a new coaching staff coming off a Super Bowl, the #1 pick overall, and an undisputed leader in the organization who works harder than anybody in Max Crosby. That's something to be positive about. That's the monologue. Brought to you by Finley Volvo, Las Vegas. What vehicles? The 2026 XC40 SUV. 39-month lease at $529, $39.98 due at lease signing, 10,000 miles per year. The vehicle is unbelievable. It's safe. You'll love it. Once you get in it, you'll never want to get out. It's that great of a vehicle. Go see Mike at Finley Volvo, Las Vegas, right there off of Rainbow. If you're considering buying or leasing a luxury SUV, you have to see and test drive a Volvo. I worked up a sweat. I'm ready to go. There's no warm up here. This isn't greeting my 6 co-hosts and ask what they did last night in Vegas for dinner. We are the fastest show in this market. We never slow down. We have a purpose every day. When we come back, D says that's a hydration-worthy monologue. I would agree. But you don't have to agree with me. I don't care. I don't care. Just come on in and have passion for life and have passion for your teams and sports. I have passion for the WBC, the Golden Knights coming home soon. A lot to get to as we open up the show on Raider Nation Radio.
Trying to figure out zone Ross, trying to get acclimated to a new general manager, John. It's like an entirely new staff. Imagine how fast it's going. Yet, as I watched it, he's just calm, cool, and collected. And I think it's a signature statement about him. One of the things that kind of pulled the Raiders to him.
Good morning, Tailgate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio.
How are we doing today? Let's put the phone number in the chat. We almost got 400 people here, right?
Have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. This is JT from Las Vegas is Scrubhouse. Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was.
Yeah, I see it in here.
Yeah, I just wanted you to listen to the end. During the break and see if he says, yeah, it's Sunday. You mentioned Sunday on the way out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anywhere in the valley with live local entertainment 7 nights. A great place to watch football games. Check it out at LaCasaCigars.com.
UNLV basketball, Clay Baker, going to get out of the first round, or are they one and done?
Oh, no, check one high. Depends on how they finish. If they finish bad, they'll start good.
Oh, I like that.
.com.
I love this kid. That kid is on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. You know who that guy is?
No.
Oh, his name is Egg. If you haven't watched the new Game of Thrones, it's really good. Oh, Matt's heading over to Grimaldi's for a brick oven pizza. Wash it down with an ice cold Modelo. There you go. I'm looking for 2, not for opening day, but opening weekend. Yankees at Giants. Yankees at San Francisco Giants. If anybody knows of a pair, my son already bought his plane ticket. We want to go.
Your school should be safe for every student. For tips and resources, visit NevadaPTA.org. This message is sponsored by the Nevada Parent Teacher Association in cooperation with the
Yeah, right there, Clint.
Association.
Just gonna let's pace ourselves.
Can help you save on
Thank you.
medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information. If you're one of the millions living with a heart
Oh yeah, the Brick House bracket contest is back. Yes, my son Jason is putting that together. The bricklayer bracket contest. I'll tell you how to participate in that.
Whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.
Have Kenny Clark back. Where was Kenny Clark? Kenny, I thought I was going to have to send out a search party looking for you.
Refreshing than an ice cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your nights on the ice. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. So it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not seltzer, it's Surfside, official partner of the Vegas Golden Knights. Sold in arena and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
For the Truck is your premier truck shop. Our suspension experts will take your ride to the next level.
We got to get an offensive lineman or 2 right now with the Raiders who are not Pro Bowlers but good. A lot of offensive linemen getting released.
Suspension upgrades. We have everything you need.
Hey, Las Vegas, are you tired of plumbing prices that break the bank? At 365 Plumbing, we're bringing fair pricing back. Family owned and operated. We treat your home like it's our own.
Franchise tag today, man.
Here 65 days a year, rain or shine, day or night. Extend the life of your water heater right now. For a limited time, take advantage of our water heater flush special for only $26. Visit us at 365plummingnv.com. 365 Plumbing, because where the water flows, 365 Plumbing goes.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute the
Here's what's going to happen. Max Crosby, I don't think he's going to get traded. If he does, people are going to say, JT, you were wrong. What was I wrong about? That I wanted him to stay? I've never said I don't think he's getting traded. If he gets traded, was I wrong? Okay, tell me I'm wrong. Like I give a shit. If he doesn't get traded, I am going to come after these housewives and these NFL insiders who caused this shit. I'm going to blow them out of the water. And I've tagged everybody. I've bookmarked all of them. All of them were stirring the pot.
Should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Raider Nation, hey, you. Are you following us on social media? Well, you should be at RNR9.
Stock market got murdered today, and now the stock market's coming back. Nice. Down 1,100 today on the war.
At Raider Nation Radio 920 AM. All the content you expect from Raider Nation Radio 920 will be right there. Make sure to turn on your notifications for YouTube and be notified anytime that we go live. Again, at Raider Nation Radio 920 AM.
Looney's texting me. Hello, Tom Looney.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
BK motions out to the left. Cam Ward gonna throw, trying to set up the screen. There's pressure. He's chipped. And it's sucked. Max Crosby got him from behind. Malcolm Kuntz was right in front of him. There are extra bodies there, too. And a third sack and a half for the Raiders defense, and it's a 3-and-out.
The guy that we really want on our team. It's a guy that we really want on our team. It's simple as that. We want Max to be a Raider. And, the few interactions I've had with him have been very, very positive. Really excited about working with Max this year.
Well, that's the soundbite of Clint Kubiak. We want Max. We want Max to be a Raider. I don't know much more you need than that. That's the coach. So if you end up trading Max, you're going to have to go to the coach who said, we want Max. We want Max to be a Raider, and tell him why. And if you're going to tell him why you traded him, I would assume it's because you got an offer you couldn't refuse that blew everyone away, including the coach. And maybe it doesn't even blow the coach away. So that's where we stand today. Breaking news from Adam Schefter. Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson is not being franchise tagged and will become an unrestricted free agent. It's a hell of a player. It's a hell of a player. He's a really good player. I think right there with Max. You could say better than Max at times with the stats. I think Max is a better run stopper and better at setting the edge, but Hendrickson is a great pure pass rusher. So NFL.com has their franchise tag tracker that is out there. Today at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is coming up here at the top of the hour, is the official deadline for NFL teams to use a tag on the players. The non-exclusive franchise tag, the most commonly used tag, when most referred to the franchise tag, they generally talk about the non-exclusive version. This is a one-year tender of the average of the top 5 salaries at a player's position over the last 5 years, or 120% of their previous salary, whichever is greater. Now, the exclusive franchise tag, which you don't see often, the tagging team retains the sole right to negotiate with the player. The exclusivity raises the pay scale and gives them the opportunity to move forward. This is a one-year tender offer. And then the transition tag is a 1-year tender offer for the average of the top 10 salaries at the position, as opposed to the top 5. It guarantees the club has the right of first refusal to match any offer. So as we take a look at who's been tagged, it's a pretty good group. So Breece Hall was just tagged. The Jets placed their non-exclusive franchise tag today on Breece Hall. Hall will make $14.29 million, Clay. Remember when we didn't want to give Josh Jacobs $11-12 million? We didn't want to do it. We didn't want to do it with Josh Jacobs. And now it's 14.293 for the tag.
Yeah, and at the time was like, well, do you want to stick around for 1 year too early or 1 year too late on running back that takes on a lot of punishment? That was really a bad.
It was a bad decision. It was to get. I'd say that, but we got Ashton Genty. We move on. Daniel Jones just placed. He just found out that the Colts placed their transition tag on Daniel Jones. The tag is worth $37.8 million, coming off an Achilles. It's a lot of money. George Pickens, the Cowboys placed a non-exclusive tag on Pickens. He's expected to make $27.298 million on the tag. He's coming off a career year, 93 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And then Kyle Pitts, the Falcons placed a non-exclusive franchise tag on him. He's set to make $15 million. They don't use him at all. He's coming off a pretty good year, 88 receptions, 928 yards, 5 touchdowns. We had Darren Waller put up much bigger numbers than that, much bigger. Now, Kyle Pitts, I compare to Michael Mayer. Blank or get off the pot, you know that term? Why do the Falcons want to keep Kyle Pitts? They don't give him the ball. Why do we want to keep Michael Mayer? Michael Mayer is not a special teams blocker. He's a pass-catching tight end. So those are the tags there. We found out that Trey Hendrickson will not be tagged as we get going. Open line for you if you want to get through, 702-365-9200. We are the flagship of the Raiders. Max Crosby is the biggest topic in sports radio. This station needs to be better. Not me. Everybody listening needs to be better because this is an opinionated topic. This isn't the dead zone of June, July when I'm trying to put together the all-time greatest alumni team. Busting my ass to try to get you to the start of the year. This is Max Crosby and Fernando Mendoza. We are active while I'm here. While I'm here on the radio, we are active. So here's Adam Schefter talking about this earlier today. And Adam Schefter comparing Max Crosby and A.J. Brown in their current situations.
I don't expect the price to go down much. I said, we don't know whether the teams are posturing and whether they would be willing to lower the price on either player next week. I personally don't know that they will, and I don't know that will happen. Like, I don't think the Eagles are lowering the price on A.J. Brown. I think they'd be prepared to keep him. And I think the Raiders would be prepared to keep Max Crosby if they don't get the price they want. They're looking for a Micah Parsons type of package. Are they going to get that? I don't know. And if they don't, then what do? Are they still willing to come off that price?
Yeah, I think that's what Adam Schefter is the biggest guy in the pool, right? He's the biggest fish in the pond. He's Adam Schefter, then there's everyone else. And there's a lot of other good ones. There's some good insiders who were there also. Very good. But Adam Schefter is the number one. And he just told you what everybody's saying. The only reason why the Raiders would move Max Crosby is if they got an offer that they just couldn't refuse. And we don't sense that offer is on the table today. It could be. And the teams that most people believe have the most to do it would be the Rams, the Bears, 2 very good teams, maybe the Seahawks, predominantly teams out west. We know that Max isn't available for the Chargers or Denver. And then the Eagles seem to be a team. If you monitor Philadelphia sports talk radio, a lot of fans in Philadelphia they have Max Crosby on their mind. They have Max Crosby on their mind. And then it becomes, if the Raiders don't have a franchise tag player that is good enough to tag, now it becomes very interesting that the Raiders don't have enough players that are signed that way that they could tag. Can the Raiders get one of these players who are not tagged and they could go in there and get a good player that's released due to a salary cap issue? Jeffrey Chadilla, who was on with the Raiders from the Combine, put out a list on some of the teams that might want to get in a deal, that they need to make a major splash. And Chadilla's got some pretty good contacts out there on the teams that may want to jump in there and just get going. And there's a lot of teams that he has that are ranked ahead of the Raiders that are more ready to win. See, that's what's happening now. You're going to sense that in the next couple of weeks, is that people are going to start spinning that free agents and available players don't want to come to the Raiders because it's a rebuild. That's nonsense. The players want to go where they're going to get paid. That's it. They want to know where they're going to make the most money. They're prideful. But there are some teams that are pretty good that have cap space or want to kind of get things going. The Commanders currently rank in the top 5 in the league in projected salary cap space. They have $70 million, and they have Jaden Daniels. So if you're an offensive player, that might be a better fit. Also, don't sleep on the Patriots again. The Patriots had one of the greatest one-year turnarounds that we've seen. And Mike Vrabel was able to bring in players who came in and absolutely rocked. Now, they only have $40 million in available space. Only $40 million. But they still have Drake May on a rookie contract, so they have some flexibility to go out there. And then finally, the Rams. The Rams are a team now that's got to make a move because they're trying to catch the Seahawks. And the Seahawks barely beat them. And if the Rams beat the Seahawks, I think the Rams would have beat the Patriots easily also in the Super Bowl. So the Rams reportedly are sitting back, and they are ready to go. It's the final years of Matthew Stafford. Stafford turned 38 years old last month. The Rams do have a decent amount of protected cap space, according to Over the Cap, about $40 million. So they're looking to get a cornerback maybe quickly here, and they wouldn't mind another defensive player. Remember, they have Puka, right? They got Devontae. They got Stafford. They can do good things there. Another addition on defense. And the Max Crosby name that's been rumbling in Los Angeles, a lot of people think that they could be a team that could restructure deals and put together a package for Max. Not that I think that's going to happen, but now people are speculating if Max wanted to get traded, he'd want to stay on the West Coast, wanted to be close to Vegas. His family loves it out West. And the Rams don't have as much money as some of the other teams that are up there in the rumor process. 702-365-9200 as we continue. WBC, the United States baseball team's playing the San Francisco Giants today, and they are currently trailing 4-2. I want to get into the WBC today and find out what you think about it. Are you tuning in? Will you watch? Does it move the needle for you? Does it make you feel more of a patriotic baseball fan or a sports fan? Mike Ferrin from MLB Network Radio will join us near the top of the hour. We'll get his vibe on the roster, what's at stake for USA baseball, and how they could maybe feed off the energy of the Winter Olympics. And the men's hockey team, and I mentioned the girls' hockey team, because if you don't mention the ladies, you get yelled at. You get yelled at. If you don't mention the ladies winning the gold medal and you mention the men, you get yelled at. So I want to make sure I don't get yelled at online. I love the women just as much as the men, and we want the women to feel great about their hockey team because they were fantastic. 702-365-9200. Hour number 2 kind of wide open. TJ Reeves will join us, the Buccaneers sideline reporter. He's coming out here to call some Mountain West basketball games, so we'll have him sometime next hour when he wraps up his show. If you want to jump in now or hit us up on YouTube. We're giving away a signed jersey by the end of tonight. You got to be there and be a new subscriber to our YouTube channel at JT the Brick. It's right there in my bio. JT the Brick YT on YouTube. It's free. Just click it. It'll take you about 30 seconds, and you'll get all the extra content. We're brought to you by La Casa Cigars, where I'm going. I think I'm going tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. No night show on Wednesdays. I like to go to La Casa, have a stick, have a Modelo, or have a Remy Martin sidecar. Right there at Tivoli Village, Mike's got the brand new, right next door where it used to be, but bigger and better La Casa Cigars. Phones are slow today. Phones are slow. That's embarrassing. They're slow. People want their handheld today.
Wait till they start to use.
We'll get them up here.
It could be utilized in a major way. He also used natural gas, something we've been screaming
Times 12 personnel for Raider Nation. Like nobody's ever seen. That's what 12 personnel has been for the Raiders. You hear about the great stories and all the great tales and how fantastic it is, but none of us have ever seen it.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness, weekdays at 2.
Vegas, this is your only Wyndham Spring Break Rock Throwback. Huddle of Fun with special guest Eve 6 live in Resort Saturday, March 21st. One night, one room, an exclusive show. Resort at 8 p.m. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com or the Resort box office. E6, Saturday, March 21st at M Resort.
Looking for your next adventure on the road? Finley Toyota has you covered. With an unbeatable selection of brand new Toyotas, you'll find the perfect ride to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Whether it's the rugged Tacoma, the adventurous RAV4, or the powerful Tundra, at Finley Toyota, we make financing easy and stress-free, no matter your credit situation. Finley Toyota, driven to excellence. At the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson or online at finleytoyota.com.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you?
My dad knew how to reassure me.
Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya, guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Power Shift by MP Energy. It's all about taking savings to the next level. Check it out. These products and services save energy and money. There are discounts and rebates on energy-efficient devices and free smart thermostat.
Yep.
Take savings to the
I
next
did
level.
a cowboy.
All right.
Must be the Godfather off for Max.
Okay, the Godfather offer for Max. I did 1,100 steps today before 11 a.m., so I'm feeling good, man. Rich Eisen's pushing the Cowboys to steal Max from us, maybe. All right. I see you, Rich. I get what you're doing. Rich is Raider friendly.
As a business partner of the year, enjoy lunch, meaningful stories, and a chance to support working students preparing for college and careers. Secure your seat today and be part of something powerful by visiting crystalraceamphitheater.org. The Las Vegas Aviators will look to defend their Pacific Coast League title as they head into another campaign.
Hi, when do we start getting preempted for Aviators? I would love that to happen.
Yeah. It's like a doubleheader that starts at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Italy
City Comets in for 6 games. So oil those gloves up and get ready for it.
Hey, D, you say picks 12 and 19 are good. What happens if the 19th picks some cornerback who's not in the league in 3 years from now? You going to be good with that, D? You going to be good with a pick that's not in the league?
7-2, your workforce solution.
Middle of the field's open. Caleb Williams in an empty set with 1 on the play clock. Claps his hands, gets the ball back to throw. Over the middle, blocked up in the air. And picked off by Max. Crosby to the near side. The 30. Oh, he's in the miles to the 36. What an individual effort by the Condor, who has the interception. And the Raider defense just keeping them in the ball games.
You know, it's Jason Horowitz on the call. I don't want to put words in Jason's mouth because he's a great broadcaster, but you think Jason Horowitz wants to rebuild as he's calling all these Raider games, mostly losses instead of wins? You think he wants to come in there and win games and have these final calls where the Raiders are winning and then throwing it to me on the post-game show and we're a little bit happier because we're winning games? That's what the goal is here. Also, I wanted to mention my dear friend Greg Papa, former voice of the Raiders and now the voice of the Niners, is going through a really difficult time now and is having a procedure coming up here. And I'm thinking of him heavy today. We go back a long way. I want everybody to be healthy. I want everybody to be healthy. And your thoughts should be with Greg. I hope Greg gets through what he's going through. Just wanted to get that out here. It's very important that we root for people that are going through difficult times with their health. And Greg could use your prayers. No doubt about that. He could use your prayers. And I'm into the prayer warriors who are out there that could help. No doubt about that. 702-365-9200. We'll dive into the World Baseball Classic. Coming up also TJ Reeves next hour. March Madness is approaching quickly. UNLV's got a very energetic head coach in Josh Pastner. Very energetic. The team, as you said, Clay, is Jekyll and Hyde. We don't know which team's going to show up. We know they're going to hit a three and keep a streak alive. We don't know if they're going to play defense or not. We don't know if they're going to get blown out. But the Mountain West playoffs are here. They're here in Las Vegas. And it would be nice if UNLV basketball would show up.
Yeah, it would be great because they'll probably get to play, like one of the Wednesday games against Air Force, beat Air Force, move on, make it interesting. Because finally you have a coach that believes that you could find a lot out of an identity of 12 brand new players, and that's what they're working with right now.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If Josh Pastner needs a year to get rid of certain players, to bring in new players, I have no problem with that. Look at Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen took over for a very good coach with a good team. And Dan Mullen even recruited better than that. And UNLV football has one of the best recruiting classes out there. It would be a shame that we live in Las Vegas and we can't get butts in the seats for UNLV basketball in a conference tournament. They have no chance of getting out and getting to the NCAA tournament. I mean, zero chance. They cannot beat the teams that are in front of them and get on that hot of a streak. It would be a miracle. But at least it'd be fun to root for them and see them win a couple of games there. All right, when we come back, that was a good first hour of the show. We'll dive into the World Baseball Classic. Ooh, is there a home run right there? I think someone just hit a home run for USA. Who just homered for USA? The ball just went out of the ballpark. Got to double check on who it is. The graphic isn't up there. Alex Bregman, home run. Nice. Big home run there for United States of America baseball.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas.
Alex Bregman is a good baseball player, man. That guy's got some pop for a small player.
A crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Okay, let me get ready for this next guest, and I'll be right there with you.
France
always got his number, Clay. Mike Farron. Yep, we find him on X.
It's now my favorite pizza in Vegas. Where Grimaldi's did get their famous New York style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com. That's JT for the local 872 partners of Raider Nation Radio, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. Go to local872.com to find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley. I'm proud to be associated with the 872, proud partners of my show and Raider Nation Radio.
It's game day. Are your moderate to
all right, now I got it.
Ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, can help you get back to the game.
Mike Farron, Mike_Farron.
To achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic.
All right, what's happening in the? I'm all hydrated. I'm good. I'm all good.
Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may go when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about
hour number 2. Find out where my sons are today. One son was playing golf. The other one was working.
You won't believe everything I just saw. Went to Disneyland, and it was the 70th celebration. I went to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live.
Oh, yeah. Salute to Greg Papa. So, Greg, I've been texting with Greg. He's going in for a pretty serious procedure. He's going in for a very serious procedure that a transplant, and we'll leave the rest of it private because it's private medical issue. It's all out there on social media from KMBR, but we want Greg to survive this, and we want Greg to live his life again the way he can.
Happiness and Bluey's best day ever. Coming soon. Save with Good Neighbor Hotel packages starting at $164 per person per night on select days through March 31st, 2026. Per party of 4 adults, including 2-day, 1-park per day tickets and a 3-night stay at a select Good Neighbor Hotel in a deluxe room. Full price $1,960. Visit Disneyland.com/Good Neighbor Hotels for details.
Nevada's
I don't know when the war's going to end. I will say this, as I haven't been paying attention as closely. Iran had a lot of other bombs available that they were going to shoot off, and they're doing that now. This is not as easy as we thought it would be, nor should it be easy when you're in a war. So that's about as not getting political. I'm just saying from a battlefield sense, this is a worthy opponent. But man, we are taking out their leaders left and right.
We have Mike. This is Nation Radio 920 PM, part of the Las Vegas Sports Network, KRLV Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
You just get up every day and you take one step at a time and you keep going and you show up. We have a big mountain to climb, but we're not trying to do it all in one day.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's really important to me that we're a gritty team, that the way that they were back in the old days. It's nothing that we say, it's what we do on the field. All the little things that win that have nothing to do with skiing.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
All right, hour number 2 ready to go live from Las Vegas, where we got a lot of baseball coming up here in Las Vegas. We're focused on the NFL draft with Mendoza, all the rumors with Max Crosby, everything we're covering here. But I'm excited for the World Baseball Classic for a number of reasons. A lot of it has to do with the Olympic hockey team of the men and women and what they brought to the table, which was very entertaining, very patriotic. And I'm hoping the same thing for our men's baseball team at the WBC. Mike Farron, kind enough to join us from MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM College, and the ESPN family of networks. He's a very good insider here. Mike, let's begin. How big is this opportunity for the players on the USA team to have something new happen in their careers? They make a lot of money. Some play on great teams, but a lot of them don't play on great teams. And this is their chance for a championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like anybody, right, when you get a chance to represent your country, you get really excited about it. And that's the consensus of the team there. I mean, I had a chance to spend some time with Team USA yesterday. And listen, they have players that have played in the World Baseball Classic before. Paul Wolfman is the third time through. But this is definitely the most star-studded. It was interesting you mentioned the men's and women's hockey team, because it's on the tip of the tongue for just about everybody there. Obviously, all these guys had committed to playing before, and I think even finishing with the silver medal the last time the tournament was played in 2023, it certainly captured the imagination of a lot more players who saw the atmosphere of the games and wanted to be a part of it. Probably a lot more exciting than playing in a spring training game, but they really want to represent the country well, and they're using that, the men's and women's gold medals in hockey as motivation. So it's going to be really fun, and they are super excited to put on the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, I think the four nations in hockey, even before the Olympics, showed how great a tournament could be. And I'm happy because, Mike, I've been saying this on all my platforms, that if only one team's going to win the World Series. And in my lifetime, I'm a diehard Yankee fan. In my lifetime, I've never seen a team more stacked to do it than this Dodgers team. And I don't, you know this being at spring training, how some of these teams are looking around at the Dodgers going, we have zero shot to compete against the Dodgers. Maybe just 2 or 3 teams in all of baseball with their payrolls have to do it. So if you're fortunate to be on this USA roster and you're not going to beat the Dodgers later on in October, this is something to shoot for.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that premise a little bit. Baseball postseason lends itself to randomness far more than the others. It was interesting. The guy who runs the analytics for the NFL did a study about 10 years ago, comparing all the other sports to the NBA, right, where 80% of the favorites win each round. In order for that to happen, for 80% of the favorites to win in Major League Baseball, each round of the playoffs would need to be a best of 75. So just because you're spending a lot, and just because the Dodgers have had all the success the last few years, it doesn't mean they're going to have success in the postseason again. Remember, the Dodgers were utter failures until 2 years ago, despite the fact that they were outspending everybody. It just feels like adding Shohei Ohtani has changed that. But you're right in the sense that everybody wants to have a chance to compete and win. And, this U.S. team, while it's loaded with stars, and it's certainly the most star-studded roster that they've had, is really interesting in the way that it was constructed, because there are restrictions on the pitchers, especially as to how much they can throw. And so the equation for Mike Hill, the general manager of the team and the former Marlins GM, who put it together with the idea that they were going to build like a really good roster, right? So they have left specialists. They have guys that can go multiple innings out of the bullpen. They have Clayton Kershaw's going to be their long man. Those are things that they did. And when they put together the bench, they did it with the idea that, like Ernie Clement, who was the big postseason star for the Jays, right? For the record for most hits in the postseason. Ernie Clement's not a superstar, but that dude could wake up after being asleep for a week and go 3 for 5. He's just that kind of hitter. And so being able to have that player on the bench was super important as well. So the care that was taken in building this roster to make it complete, I think was really, really interesting.
Mike Farron, I want to stay with that, but you got me going on this other topic. I am really disappointed and I'm angry about the money that the Dodgers are deferring. And my point is, close this loophole. Pay everybody what they're due each year of their contract at the end of the season. This Ohtani deferral is outlandish. It's insane that maybe the greatest player since Babe Ruth can have this much money deferred. And the Dodgers are going to get blamed for this lockout more than any other team, rightfully or wrongfully so. But why isn't Rob Manfred looking to close this loophole with deferred money?
Yeah. So they actually had that discussion about it in the last collective bargaining agreement, and the Players Association didn't have any issue with them continuing to defer money. So I think that's a big part of it. I think the other part is that there's this major misconception that Ohtani's contract is valued at just $2 million when it comes to the luxury tax and all that this year. It's actually valued at $46 million because that's the present day value of his contract with all the different. And I think the other part that goes into this is you kind of look at this money being spent and you go, well, the Dodgers would have all this extra money. Is that within 8 months, I think it's 8 months or 10 months of each basically fiscal year beginning, you need to have like 75 or 80% of that money at least in escrow. So it's really not that big an advantage. And I think when you're seeing it, you're seeing all of these other teams do it. The Tigers just did it with Framber Valdez and with Justin Verlander, right? The Blue Jays have done it on a number of contracts. The Giants have done it. Deferrals are part of the game. Listen, I don't mind. I could care less either way what happens with deferrals, but it's not quite the advantage that it has been made out to be. And I think part of that is just because the huge amount of money that Ohtani decided to defer was unique. But he offered that same deal to the Jays. He offered that same deal to the Giants. And they said, yeah, we'll do it too. So I think we're screaming about this because of the Dodgers. If Ohtani is signed with the Giants, I don't think it's a big deal anymore.
Yeah, the reason I bring it up is I think the Dodgers will pay their luxury tax. They'll pay this. They'll go over the top. I mean, you pay an outfielder in free agency $240 million, and that's more than Judge. And then you look at the deferrals with Ohtani. You're saying to yourself, can the Marlins do that? The Pirates and the Brewers, can they? It can't. Artie Moreno doesn't want to do it with the Angels, so we know that they're allowed to do this. And I think you made a good point that I'll evolve with this topic, Mike, is the fact that the Dodgers have to have a lot of that money in escrow, but they got a lot more money than everybody else, man, and they sure know how to spend it.
Yeah. But that's a bigger issue, right? And that's not, to me, that's an owner-to-owner issue more than anything, because the revenue sharing in baseball, while it increased in the last CBA, is not to the level that it is in other leagues. I mean, first of all, it's way different, right? You're playing, this ain't football, we do it every day, as Earl Weaver used to say. And so a lot more of the local revenues play a bigger role, whereas in the NFL, they pool everything together, right? And this is part of, I think, why the league is trying to push for, getting at least all of the streaming rights together after 2028. If they can get all the TV rights, you try and sell it as a package in an effort to try and even the playing field from the finances there, too. The other part of it is that they signed Ohtani, and they're making a ton of money from Japanese corporations that have jumped on the Ohtani bandwagon. And the fact is that the Dodgers are super popular over here, and they're helping to drive the resurgence of the popularity of the sport. So, of course, it's far more complicated than just saying, hey, the Dodgers are spending a lot of money. I mean, the Yankees are spending a lot of money too. Yeah. And their team isn't as complete. The Dodgers have done a good job of building their rosters. But again, like, they got lucky last postseason.
They did.
That all of their starting pitchers were healthy. The year before, they had to, they were putting together their bullpen with duct tape and baling wire. MacGyver was sitting back and going, damn, that's impressive, you know? So, it's not like all of their stars have shown up at the biggest time, and baseball lends itself to more of this. But make no mistake, any of this discussion about a cap is not about competitive balance. It's all about trying to reduce how much owners are spending. You and I have both worked for billionaires, JT. We all know that they're not billionaires for spending their money.
Yeah, Mike Farron's our guest. Great commentary. Just quickly, as we look at this with the potential lockout, what advice would you give, or what are you hearing that could stop the lockout? I mean, so many people and insiders and people involved in the sport think we're headed to that cliff. Do you think that there'll be common ground with Tony Clark gone and maybe the way the union looks at this now? What do you think could be the common ground?
I mean, I think there's two different things at play here, right? So, the last time the collective bargaining agreement expired, the league locked players out, so they didn't miss any games, right? The idea of a cap is the third rail, right? That's what, and I would say that everything that is happening now falls under the category of saber rattling. Every year, or every time CBA expires, within a year of it happening, the league proposes a cap and the players say no. So, it's an instant start. Now, if they're going to try and hold to that, first of all, be shocked. Two, if it does happen that way, then we are looking at a long shutdown, right, of the games potentially. But, man, there's a long way to go. And, I think all of this is just a way to get nervous about the sport, because there has been more bad feelings in the last 5 or 6 years between the league and the players than there had been in the previous 25. I think they can get something done. I think for sure that the owners will lock players out on December 1st. I don't think that means that they're going to miss games, because if they do miss games, it's going to completely devalue the product right at a time where they're trying to sell a massive television deal.
Right.
And that makes absolutely no sense. It becomes penny wise and pound foolish. Now, could they do it? They're billionaires. They don't live in the same world we do. I was thinking they were the development meeting with Jessica Walter that says, how much does a banana cost, Michael? $10? You know? Right. They're in the same world that we do. So is it? Well, yeah. But every time there has been a work stoppage, and I invite you to go back and look at this, when the game has stopped, the owners have ended up worse off than they did before. It's not players. They're the ones that have the most money to lose.
Wow, Mike, you sound like a big market guy like me. I'm the mean Yankee fan that all the Dodgers say, well, it was great when Steinbrenner did it. No, let me remind everybody, when Steinbrenner did it, he wasn't a billionaire. He was taking his money and putting it completely back in the team. Now, hold on. Now the Dodgers are buying the Lakers. I mean, the Dodgers got it pretty good. They can afford Ohtani, all these other players, and then they can afford the Lakers. I mean, the Dodgers are playing on a different playing field, Mike.
But here's the problem is that, the issue isn't the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox or any of the big market teams. It's like 2 or 3 teams that absolutely refuse to spend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the fact is that, if Pirates sold to somebody who is willing to actually invest in the product, they might be better off. You don't need to turn a profit every year in baseball. You don't need to turn a profit in any of them, because the value of the franchise isn't going down, right? You're going to sell it for more than you made.
Like 12, 15.
You're right that there's a huge payroll disparity, and the revenue disparity is significant. And the owners can choose to fix that if they decide that they want to share more revenue. But that's on them to decide. But you also have teams that have absolutely ignored that they can spend more than what they have on their payroll. And I think the Milwaukee Brewers are a great example of this. Who had the best record in the major leagues last year during the regular season?
Brewers or Tigers? Yeah, Brewers, yeah.
Brewers with 97 wins. Milwaukee is the smallest market, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the smallest market in baseball. and they spend, they're kind of more in like the low 20s or into the teens. The Diamondbacks are like 14th largest market. They spent more than the Cubs last year. So I think a lot of this is there's always a bad guy, right? Your Yankees were the bad guy 25 years ago when we went through some of the same crap. Their payrolls were actually multiple times higher than the lowest payroll than the Dodgers are now. Like that's the reality of it is that for all of this complaint about the big market teams, the small market teams aren't necessarily pulling up the game, and they're the ones that are neglecting their fans. Like literally, the Clippers have neglected their fans. They have coach teams. They're the best prospect in baseball. They can sign those guys long term now because you know what happens if they wait? They get more expensive, and then you don't sign them. So I think I think we spend an awful lot of time complaining about things when it's a big shiny object without looking at what the root of the cause is.
Mike, last one. Is it going to be easy to find this on TV, the WBC? Because I'm out here on the West Coast, and they put the gold medal game on at 5 a.m. I know it's in Milan. We're not in Milan now, but is it going to be popping up like the games that you're most looking forward to with the United States? I'm assuming they're later in the tournament with pitchers, as we talked about on pitch counts. What are the must-see games, the one or two for the United States that we have to see?
Well, I think U.S.-Mexico is the absolute must in pool play, and that'll be next Monday night. Okay. I think it's on either Fox or FS1. It's also all the games are on Sirius XM, and we'll have it on MLB Network Radio. I'm doing the play-by-play. Ryan Schoolberg will be doing the color from Houston for all of the games in Pool B, whether the U.S. is involved or not. And so that's the biggest one in the prelims. But there are big names that are starting the first games. Logan Webb is starting against Brazil in the opener. Tarek Skubal's only started going to be against Great Britain, which is the second game that the U.S. played. But all the games will be on the Fox networks, either FS1 or on Fox. And listen, if you want to go someplace to hear it, I suggest going to MLB Network Radio. Billy's really funny. I kind of suck, but he's great.
Thanks, Mike. Let's do this again. You're fantastic. I appreciate you. Mike Ferrin. That was a really good spot right there. Nice job. And the job that he does on MLB Network Radio. I think you want to watch this. I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm watching it now. It's on here. USA Baseball looks pretty good. We saw the Alex Bregman home run. So I'm watching it here as they're playing the San Francisco Giants in this game. And yeah, it looks, I'm excited to watch our country play baseball. He says the Mexico game, Clay, in pool play, the Mexico game is a game we should keep an eye on.
Yeah, those are the two teams out of that pool that are really destined to move on. And then who do you face out of the Dominican Republic? You know they'll push fast. Puerto Rico, Japan. It's going to be incredible baseball powers at hand, and I love it. And I'm glad that you'll see baseball all over the board, but you definitely want to see this USA-Mexico match because that will propel somebody into further distance, and now you get a really chance to play with the Titans of baseball.
Aaron Judge with a base hit. Base hit, America 5. The Giants won. Why did I say that? Because the Giants are American too, right? The Giants are in the United States of America, but that's how we throw it out there. Judge, and perfect. I just was going to say this. I swear I was going to say it. They got Judge out of the game.
Yeah.
They got base hit, get him out of the game. Base hit, get him out of the game. I love that. 702-365-9200. We're waiting on TJ Reeves to join us next. He's the Buccaneer sideline guy. He loves boxing. I got to ask him about Floyd Manny at the Sphere and how that's going to look. And then he's calling some games in college basketball that we're going to talk about too. So TJ Reeves, kind of a frequent guest to the show during football season. I have him on every 60 days or so. We'll get to him next if you'd like to jump in here. We want to thank the M Resort Spa and Casino for everything they do for us. The double tower now right there. When I get off to get to the Raiders, I take from downtown mean streets of Summerlin. I get on the 215 and then I get on the 15. And when I'm getting to the 15, my exit for the Raiders, I see the glorious towers of the M Resort. I say, I'm almost there. I'm almost there for the Raiders. It's the official hotel of the Silver and Black, the M Resort Spa and Casino. When we come back, we'll get to TJ Reeves and we'll get into it with him. And today's topic is NFL rumors. Max is at the top of the rumor list. Where do you stand on all these rumors? Can you handle it, or do you need more? Is it like a slow drip that you need to make sure you get enough rumors daily about the NFL? Thank you, bricklayers. Remember, new subscribers. We have you, new subscribers. Chance for a signed jersey tonight. We'll let you know about it. Appreciate you watching the stream. Appreciate you being here for us. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening and watching on YouTube.
Oh, don't